with myself, Gladys Clausen, and my father, Roberto Rios. And we want to thank the Gilford Public Library once again for hosting us. This is the third part of our 4-week series. Our first week, we covered our arm work in braceo. Last week, we worked on our footwork and our marcaje. And today, we're going to be talking about rhythm, music, styles, and we'll be looking at the castanets. That's my musical instrument. Before we begin, of course, we want to get warmed up with some beautiful music played by my father, Roberto. And so if you have room, move that coffee table, and let's get started on our arm movements. So we'll stand. Our feet are together. Tuck your tailbone and bend those knees. Roll your shoulders back. Create a nice long neckline. Bring your arms up, overhead. Shoulders down, away from your ears. Ready? Here we go. Starting with our right. Other side. Both hands together. Again. Reverse directions. Down the front. Up. Other side. Both arms. Once more. Now let's add those wrists. So in. Here we go. Right side. Out. In and out. In, out. Feet together. Other side. Now both arms. One more time. Reverse directions. Down the front. Aye. Both hands down. More. Keep on going. So I hope you're feeling all warmed up. I love that warm up. It's so beautiful. So today we're talking about music. There are 3 different types of music that you will find in flamenco. There's cante hondo, which is the deep song. There's cante mediano, which is medium, and cante chico, which is the lighter, happier music and melody. As my father is a musician, I'm going to let him share his wealth of knowledge on those 3 types, and then after we'll talk about our palmas so we can accompany him in his music playing.
All right, we'll begin with the cante hondo. Generally, when there's a flamenco get-together, juerga, not necessarily a theatrical production, but what's known as a juerga is that everyone gets together and shows off their stuff. And, it's sort of an informal gathering paid for by the wealthy flamenco aficionados in a private setting. And they start out with the deep song, the cante hondo, and it's a chance for the artist to express or to release the pent-up emotion from a tough life, a tough day at work, a tough relationship with your significant other, or generally emotional aspects of flamenco, the deep, cante hondo, deep song. And the Soleares is an old form that led to many other different styles, well, palos they're called. There's over 50 different forms of flamenco, and some of them are counted in counts of 12, like the Soleares that I play for the warm-up. Songs. Canya is in the format of the Soleares, and then the Soleares developed into Alegria, which is Cante Chico style, which I'll explain more in a moment. And then Cante Mediano. Cante Mediano is often based on folk music from different regions. Where a good example of this is the Fandangos de Huelva, which is also a 12 count, but there are different fandangos played in different regions. And the thought is that the fandango came from Portugal, from the fado, and was adopted in the different regions, and it has this basic rhythm with different accents. Fandango has different accents. It's still measures of 6 beats or phrases, compasses of 12 beats. But unlike the Soleares, which has the accents on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. The Fandangos is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Essentially, the message is that based upon rhythm and the accents, you distinguish one form from another. But then within that, there are fandangos de Málaga, fandangos de Huelva, fandangos de Triana, and so you get this variety, and the melodies may change, but the compás is essentially the same. But also with the fandangos, you get the cante hondo also, which is free. It's called al aire, which is the introduction comes in. For the singer to come forward with the cante hondo and so the singer leads, the guitarist follows, but it doesn't have the rigid compás or the rigid rhythm. And as I said, it can be mediano, it can be cante hondo, or there are some that are very fast, the cante chico. So the third form that we're talking about here is the cante chico. A good example of that is the alegrías that comes from the Soleares with the same accents. The Soleares and then we go to alegrías, which developed sometime in the 18th century. And it's the same accents and same count, but it's in a major key. Now, within the realm of the alegría, what's known as cantinia, so there are many different songs with the same accents, but they change keys, they change melody lines, they change certain elements. And so the cantinia, for example, from Madrid is the caña. We have Chanson con Vida Bras, which has its own melody line. Alegrías por Rosa, Alegrías por Clásicas, and so on. So there's a great variety within the cantinia form, or the basic 12-beat compás. And then from the alegrías, it developed the bulería, which is unclear exactly where the term bulería comes from, but it's related to the word burlar in Spanish, which is to make fun of, to have fun. And it's the same rhythm. The three categories of cante or toque playing, and give you an idea of what to listen for when you hear the 12 count, or a lot of songs are the 4 count, the tiento. Have it. Very brief, very incomplete, but a bit of a guide to what to listen for when you hear flamenco and flamenco rhythms, and the structure, the flamenco song structure. But there are others, as I said, al aire, the cante hondo. Noche de la Mina, or Taranta, and some fandangos, and they're very beautiful.
There's so much out there.
Yeah,
Well,
a great
wonderful.
deal.
Well, thank you so much, Dad, for sharing that little bit of so much history. There's so much history in flamenco. We could go on for forever, but unfortunately we can't. But I do want you at home to do some palmas with me. There are two kinds of palmas. There's sordas, which is a muffled clapping sound. So you're just going to cup your hands together. It sounds like this. If you did it to the 12 count. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you heard, my dad was just doing the offbeat. That's the contratiempo, or it's also known as syncopation. And that is something that you can do as palmeros, the clappers, the people that keep the rhythm. Or a lot of the times, dancers will do the counter rhythm, the syncopation, with their feet while the people are doing their palmas. Another type of clapping or palmas is, they're called claras, and that is a crisper, louder sound where you'll use your fingers on the palm, and it's typically used when you want to go faster, or if a dancer is doing a lot of fast footwork, you would do the claras. So do it with me, arms up. And so, if you notice from last week, we have our llamada. That wasn't really a llamada, that was just our sixth sense working together, where we know, we'll stop together.
What happens is the accent changes. So we're doing, normally the accent starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10, 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the accent changes from 12 to 1 to 1, 2, 3 together. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's the llamada. Something's going to change. The steps are going to change. The singer might come in, or there's a different speed. But that's the llamada. And it's very good to be able to recognize these, so that when everybody's playing together, somebody could come in and we never met before, but we start to play, say, the bulería. And we know that we're going to stop together, we're going to change together, something's going to happen.
And it helps us keep everything nice and neat and clean. If everybody's on the same rhythm, then it's a beautiful thing. Otherwise, it's just a big fiesta.
Mola.
So now that we've talked about palmas and the different musical melodies, I want to show you my castanets. These are my musical instrument, as I had said earlier. These are made out of pressed material, and in Spanish they're called castañuelas, and that is because of the shape of the castanets. It's like a castaña, which is a chestnut. They go on your thumbs. They are also made out of wood. They come in different shapes and sizes, different tone pitches. They were originally made out of marble, glass, sometimes seashells, but now they've come a long way, and they're much sturdier, and they are actually a classical instrument in the classical flamenco pieces. So to show you how they work, if you have a pair, or if you ever come across a pair, they'll go on your thumbs, and you want to make sure that your wrists are flexible so that the castanet can bounce off of the other side. There's two pieces to it. If you have your hands like this, they're not going to bounce and give you that sound. So the hand work, if you're a righty, it's going to do all the work. If you're a or if you're lucky, that would do all the work. One is actually pitched a little bit higher than the other. This is, my hand is, I'm a righty, so it's the niña, it's the higher tone, and el niño is the lower. So to start off, you'll start with your pinky, ring, point middle, pointer, and then your left will keep the bass. So 1, 2, 3, 4 together. The finger muscles and all those tendons that you would use for castanets, as well as your wrist. This is another one that's a very good practice. It's doing doubles. Months of practice of doing that, that's what gets you to the next movement, which is the roll. And I can just do a roll, I can do both hands together, or I can do what is known as a choque, which is to hit or crash. So in all the different movements, so that's the castanets. To end today's live, Facebook Live, I'm going to dance the Sevillanas for you, which is a traditional dance from Seville, and it is a dance that you can see families dancing on the streets, at birthday parties, out in the clubs. It's just something that you can get up and dance to, and the castanets are a nice accompaniment for that dance. The Sevillanas is actually a 4 short dances comprised into one. I'll just do the first one for you today, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, everybody, so that's our lesson for today. So next week is our final Facebook Live with you all, and you've had a wonderful time. We will, hopefully you will have your full costume on. I will have my full costumes on, makeup, hair, everything. So if you want to join me in dressing up, I would love to see a picture. You can post it in the comments after you watch the video. Somebody had asked yesterday if I do classes, if I offer classes on Zoom, and I do. If you're interested in any aspect of flamenco, whether it's just arm movement, castanets, footwork, or if you want the whole shebang, you can email me at flamenconh@gmail.com. So,
Muy bien.
So muchas gracias. Have a great weekend, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. Take care.